Why so serious?
SHACO is the token joker of the Rift, and he can be super infuriating to play against with his sneaky ganks, his annoying boxes, and of course that deceitful ultimate. He has loads of burst damage, mobility, and can juke and outplay his enemies so often with everything that his kit provides. SHACO does however feel a bit useless in the wrong hands, and does take some practice to actually be really good on him. He's also very weak when behind and doesn't really bring anything to the table aside from his damage, which means he does need it to be effective. SHACO's main rune setup revolves around Hail of Blades. This gives him the perfect ability to burst down his enemies in the back with its hasty attack speed boost. After that, go for Sudden Impact for more damage with your Deceive, Eyeball Collection for some extra damage too, and finish off with Relentless Hunter for some increased out of combat movement speed. This rune is brilliant on SHACO because when you deceive towards your enemies you'll be faster and therefore find it easier to take them down. After that, go in the Precision Tree for Legend Alacrity and Coup de Grace for some increased execute damage, which is brilliant when combined with your E. For your skill order, you want to max your E first for its damage and slow, Q second, and then finish off with your W. SHACO has two main itemization routes to go down depending on which playstyle you prefer, AD or AP, but in this guide we're going to focus on the more popular one, which is his AD setup. Therefore, his main mythic item is going to be Dusk Blade of Drakthar. It gives him loads more damage and grants him that invisibility upon takedown, which is very strong when paired with the SHACO's Q. After that, some great core items to go for next are Essence Reaver, the Collector, Infinity Edge, and Lord Dominate's Regards. You've also got those situational items too, which are Serpent's Fang, Mortal Reminder, and Edge of Night, and then there's also those great defensive choices, Guardian Angel or more of Malmortius. Against easier matchups, you can honestly just get up to no good and really abuse them to get snowballing. SHACO is fantastic at invading the enemy jungler or even ganking lanes from as early as level 2. If you aren't doing this in easy matchups, you're simply not playing him correctly. Try to familiarise yourself with enemy junglers' clear paths and work out when you can actually just jump into their jungle and invade them. Popping down a ward on their red buff at level 1 is a great option if you're unsure of where they're going to start. Against harder matchups, you're still going to want to play the early game aggressively as you don't really scale that well, so sitting around and farming is not really the way to go. Early ganks will still always be a fantastic way to win games on SHACO, and if you don't want to invade, just focus on ganks instead. Use all of the tools at your disposal to escape those unfavourable duels against enemy junglers, and place those boxes in areas you expect them to come and fight you. SHACO synergizes best with any other early aggressive champions that can assist him in those early fights and skirmishes and snowball alongside him. Those that have set up CC for SHACO's devastating ganks are even better. During those early ganks, which you can do from as early as level 2, you want to bypass wards by jumping over walls with your Deceive. Try to place a Jack-in-the-Box in their escape path before exiting stealth, and make sure you hit your target from behind to make use of your backstab passive. Your empowered auto attack from your Q also crits if you're behind your enemy, so this is a win-win. Your Jack-in-the-Boxes are incredible tools in early ganks, and you should always be thinking about them. You can even walk further behind your enemy and place one near their tower before ganking. This means if they flash away, they're likely going to flash into your box and regret their life decisions. SHACO's E is a slow and damaging ability, but it also deals more damage if the target is lower than 30% health, so always try and use this at the end of your ganks to execute them. Once you've got your ultimate, you can now play so much more aggressive with far less risk of being punished. You can use this ability to completely avoid incoming CC and damaging abilities if you time it correctly, so try and save it for those key moments when you're ganking. SHACO can also take down objectives very quickly in the early game, especially with his ultimate, so don't be afraid to get stuck in and take them off the map whenever you can. SHACO has a unique clear when he can kill his first two camps at the same time. You'll almost always want to start with red buff, as this clear is easily the most efficient for this champion. You want to put your first Jack-in-the-Box on Raptors at 50 seconds in, and then another one there when it's back off cooldown. Then when you're on your way to your red buff, you want to place a third W in between your Raptors and your red. You'll just want to auto attack down the red buff with a good leash after this. Pop a W down on this red buff and use this time to finish off the big Raptor before going back and killing the red buff. After this, you can either gank or head to Krugs for level 3 and then gank, or just head into your top side or even the enemy jungle. In teamfights, you're going to need to continue to be an absolute menace and flank teams bypassing wards with your Q. Keep an eye out for control wards and try and get on top of enemy carries and burst them down before they have a chance to escape. Try to keep those Jack-in-the-Boxes flowing and pop them down as often as you can in the areas you're fighting over. They can honestly win you the game if a key target ends up colliding with one. Your ultimate in teamfights can also cause a lot of problems, whether it's keeping yourself alive or baiting enemies into wasting their cooldowns. Plus, if you manage to get it to die amongst an enemy team, the AoE fear can be absolutely pivotal. Let's finish off this SHACO guide with a few quick tips. There are several walls in the game that you can jump over further with your Q and get behind your enemies. Try to familiarise yourself with these and abuse them for those insane early ganks. Your ultimate can also allow you to jump over certain walls too, which can be an extra cheeky way to escape or to gank quickly from another angle. If your SHACO clone gets too far out of range from you, it will ping back to your location. When you do this intentionally and when combined with your Q, it can lead to some really strong and surprising outplays. Thanks for checking out this short guide on SHACO. Good luck and have fun.